been missing out on a massive opportunity with all of your interviews. There is a secret question that will help you get so much more. I'm going to show you what it is. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Eva, and I'm on a mission to help you build meaningful careers and inspiring workplaces. Thank you so much for all of your feedback. I'm basing all of the videos on the feedback that I get to ensure that all of this content is as valuable as possible to you. I know a lot of people are looking for work right now, so this is part 2 of a 4-part series on getting the job. For anyone who hasn't subscribed yet, I can't give away all of my secrets for nothing in return. So please just hit the subscribe button. I know only 10% of you are subscribed, so if you're watching this, I'm watching you. Hit the subscribe and I'll make sure that you get access to new videos every week with entertainment, inspiration, and practical work tips. We all get to that point in the interview where the interviewer says, "So, do you have any questions for us?" And it always turns out that that question is something along the lines of, "What is your favorite thing about working for the company?" And let me tell you, it's always, or 90% of the time, my favorite thing about working for this company, it's got to be the people. We're more like a family rather than just colleagues. So what have you actually learned about the company? Absolutely nothing. It's a pointless question. Another favorite, what's the culture like? Do you think they're actually going to tell you, well, we never take any holiday because everyone is just working too hard, we all hate each other, and it's really competitive? No! So you need to be a little bit smarter with the types of questions that you're asking. Don't forget, you should be interviewing the interviewer as much as they are interviewing you. You're going to go in and put 8 hours a day into this job, working for this business and working with these people. You want to go in with your eyes wide open. So here are some better questions that you should be asking. Start taking notes. No, don't take notes. In fact, if you just pop that down in the comments with your LinkedIn profile or your Facebook profile, I will send you a list of questions that you can ask in your interviews. For now, just listen up. So, when we go to asking questions during an interview, I think about these 3 things. And I split the categories of questions into those 3. We're looking at, number 1, the business. Ask questions about the business. Number 2, ask questions about your role. And number 3, ask questions about the team that you will be working with. And I'll give you examples for all of these 3. By the way, I haven't forgotten about the secret question, and it actually doesn't fall into any 3 of these categories, so you'll just have to keep watching to find out about that one. Let's start with the basics. How does the business make money? Who are they selling to? Who are their key customers? What challenges is the business facing? Anyone at a senior level in the organization is going to know very well what challenges they have. And they'll also be interested in what skills you have to bring in order to be able to help them tackle those challenges. Next, where is the business going? What's the future of this organization? And here's how you stand out. Most of the good candidates will have definitely looked at the website and will know about the business's offering, their clients, and what they do really well. The better candidates will have also looked at, is there any news that they can comment on? And if you can ask an insightful question around that. One question I got a little while ago was, how has your company dealt with the pandemic? It's a simple question, but surprisingly, not a lot of candidates ask it. And it shows that they're thinking a little bit more about how the business is adapting. And then you can also get reviews and get an idea of what the challenges the business is facing from their products and their services. So have a look online for reviews of your company's products and services. You'll be able to pinpoint maybe what does the competition do better, and ask them, do they have any plans to expand within that area? Finally, get the inside scoop from the employees that work there. You may have heard of Glassdoor. Glassdoor will have reviews from actual employees within that company about how they feel about working there. Sometimes you'll also get salary information, but you'll get a review of how they feel about the management and how they feel about the culture. I can't believe that the sun has been out for 1 day in London and I'm already thinking it's summertime. So let's get to our 10-second dance break. next key area you want to be asking about is your role. You'll be surprised how many people apply to a company just because they love that business and they love the work that the business does, but they don't necessarily know a lot about what they'll be doing day to day. Some of the standard things you'll definitely want to cover off for every interview are: what is my day-to-day going to look like? So you have an expectation of what you'll be doing. You'll also need to understand, how will you be measured? How will your performance be assessed? And you can get really specific here. So you can ask, what will I be expected to have learned within the first 3 months? What would you expect someone at my level to have achieved after 6 months or a year working here? And then you can also find out about how you can progress within that role. So you can ask, what kind of qualities do the people who do really well at this job have? And just assess how closely that aligns to what you can offer, or if there are areas that you can improve and that you can work on. Don't let it stop you if you don't have all of the skills that the role requires. It's always better if you know. You can ask them, what kind of training and development do they offer for their employees? How is that structured? And is there a full onboarding and training plan? The next category of questions to ask are around the team that you'll be working with. We know that a lot of people don't leave jobs, they leave bad managers. So finding out who you'll be reporting to, and then asking an open question on what their management style is like. Be very careful to not lead them into answering something that you want to hear. So ask that broad question, because it doesn't give them an inkling as to what you're looking for, but it will help you get an honest assessment of how they are and how they like to work together with their employees. You'll also want to get an idea of how the team is structured and who you'll be working with most closely. This will also give you an indication as to whether the teams are quite collaborative or people are expected to work much more independently. Another great question, which will give you unexpected insights, is just to ask, why is the company hiring right now? And this will uncover a few things. The first is, if the company is simply growing and they need more people, then you know that the business is on a great trajectory. However, if they're hiring because 2 people have recently left that very role, you'll want to understand, why did they leave? What were the major challenges that they faced within the team? I'm going to make a note about culture. Culture is definitely very important, and you want to be asking questions to try and understand that culture. But just asking the question, what is the culture like, is not really going to give you that much insight. Firstly, because culture is quite subjective, and one person's experience might be very different to everyone else in the company. So what are some questions that you can ask to get an assessment of what the culture is like? Well, first of all, you'll want to ask, does the company have a formal mission statement and formal values that they all adhere to? I can tell you for a fact, a lot of companies will have these on their website, but the ones who don't means they haven't thought about it that much. So that should probably give you an indication as to how much they care about building a good culture and all getting behind a common mission. So that's one thing to look out for. And even if it's not on their website, they might be able to share their values in the interview. If they do have their core values listed on the website, you can ask, how do they actually build this into their day-to-day? And that will give you a really good idea as to whether they actually live and breathe those values and actually stick to them. If they don't have a set of core values, it's not all bad, but you could try and ask a few probing questions to get some honest answers. So what you could ask is, what is the last activity that you all did together as a team? And that will give you an idea of how often they have socials and what kind of things they do. You could also ask, when is the last time that the entire company did something together? In particular, most businesses have realized that people really need the interaction, particularly if we're working remotely now. And they've really made an effort to try and bring these teams together. I think that's really valuable, particularly if you're a little bit isolated, and is an important part of how you work. So if it's important to you to work in an environment where you are very close with your colleagues, then look for businesses who are regularly doing activities together and engaging their staff. If you've made it this far and you've liked the video down below, you definitely deserve to hear what the secret question is. Drum roll, please! And the secret question, do you have any concerns about how good a fit I am for this role? And this is a brilliant question. I have received so much valuable and honest feedback. If you really want that job, make sure that you let the interviewer know and tell them that that's where the question is coming from, that you really value their feedback, you're really excited about this job, and that's why you want to know how good of a fit you are. If you get through multiple rounds of interviews and you've put in all of the work and preparation to go after the role, you deserve good feedback on what you've done. But a lot of the time, if you wait until after they've made their decision and then ask for feedback after you've been rejected, they probably forget what it was that made them not so sure about you. Or even worse, a lot of companies don't have time and won't actually give you any honest feedback. So catching them just at the end of the interview, just as they're about to make their decision, that's your best chance to get some honest feedback. Don't get me wrong, the truth hurts, and it's always tough to hear when you are probably not as good as something as you were hoping to be, but knowing the truth and knowing the evidence gives you a chance to do something about it. And this has worked on two occasions. On the first occasion, I'll share my experience with you. The hiring manager said to me, "It's a good question. I think you're a good fit in these areas, but I'm not 100% sure that you're analytical enough." And that was fair enough. I didn't do a lot of analysis in my day-to-day role. However, I was then able to say, sure, I haven't done a lot of analysis in this role, but in one of my previous roles, here is a research report that I put together. And I also studied biomedical science, so here is my experience of quantitative analysis. And I could demonstrate and probably help them just think about some of the concerns that they had. So it's almost like you've given yourself a second chance to reassure them that you would be a great fit for the role. I asked this question in a second interview. By the way, I always ask this question now because it's so valuable. And in a second interview, I was told that they don't think I've done enough strategic planning, which, to be fair, wasn't something that I could demonstrate immediately. However, it did let me know what the skills that I need to improve are. Then it lets me seek that out in more of my roles, seek that out in the things that I'm learning and studying and developing and trying to do better. It gives you an idea of where you need to be in order to get a role like that. And here's the thing. If you've gone through an interview and you've done all of the hard work, you've found out as much as you can about the role, about the company, and you've done your best to demonstrate how you would be a good fit. If you don't get that role, it can be really disappointing, but it just means it wasn't a great fit for you, or that you need to improve a little bit more before you go after that role again. So giving yourself the chance to understand how the interviewer sees you and what the things you need to improve are just ensures that you can work towards the role that you really want or find a role that's a much better fit. But don't miss out the opportunity to get some feedback and understand how you can do better. This will serve you so well in all of your future interviews. So there you have it, the secret question. I've given it away. Please go forth and use it in all of your interviews. Make sure you make the most of that opportunity and do better with everyone until you land the dream job. If you found these questions valuable, I would be so grateful if you just hit the like button, subscribe and hit the bell to make sure that you get access to new videos. This is the second of a 4-part series, so next week we'll be looking at how you can answer some of the toughest interview questions. So make sure you tune in to next week's videos. Thanks so much for watching.